Tama wakes up one morning on Arya's chest. The girl greets him and asks him to cuddle with her a bit longer. Tama comes up with a better way to please her and gives her a small lick on the ear. Arya gets very excited and asks him to do it again. In the afternoon, they head to the smithy, where a cute girl with tiger ears named Vulcan is working. Vulcan greets them and notices Arya is accompanied by a small cat. Arya explains that he is an elemental cat she decided to adopt. Vulcan gets excited and asks if she can hold him for a moment. Arya gladly agrees and the girls gush over his cuteness. Tama can't believe his luck, being reincarnated as a monster and pampered like he has been these past few days. Vulcan asks Arya why she's visiting since she's still working on her last order. Arya tells her she wants armor for Tama. Vulcan loves the idea and immediately gets to work. She takes the necessary measurements and suggests using magic to make it adjustable since Tama is still a kitten and will grow. She also plans to cover important areas without sacrificing mobility. Vulcan works all night, and by the next day, the armor is ready. Arya thinks Tama looks adorable in his new armor, and Tama is grateful to Vulcan for completing it in just one night. Vulcan then tells Arya about a problem with her previous order, her longswords. She explains that she can't find a way to lighten them without compromising their durability. Arya admits she still struggles to wield them properly, but neither of them can figure out the issue. Vulcan suggests accompanying Arya to the dungeon to observe her fighting style and come up with a solution. The girls head to the dungeon, and Vulcan immediately crushes a pair of goblins with her large hammer. Tama acknowledges her incredible strength, befitting of the Tiger Ears lineage. A goblin uses a fire spell against Vulcan, but she absorbs it with her claws and sends it back at him. Arya is confused by this ability, and Vulcan explains it's an enchantment she gained as a blacksmith, allowing her to imbue different elements into her armor. An orc approaches, and it's Arya's turn to fight. Although she finds it repulsive, she agrees to face it. Drawing her two swords, she uses acceleration to close the distance. The orc blocks her attack and leaves her guard open. As it swings its weapon toward her, Tama uses his iron body to shield her, allowing Arya to finish the orc with her sword. Despite the victory, Arya feels disheartened for not defeating the orc alone. Vulcan approaches and explains his findings. Long swords throw her off balance, making her movements clumsy and easy to predict. Arya begs him to help her improve, and Vulcan tells her that they have the perfect opponent for that in the next level, which turn out to be some species of octopus called ropers. Tama knows that if one grabs her, it'll be hard to escape, so Arya will need to think carefully about each move. Arya uses her acceleration, but the roper blocks her with its tentacles, preventing her from closing the gap. She tries to find a blind spot, but it's no use. The roper snatches one of her swords. Now fighting with a single sword, Vulcan notices Arya moving much faster. Arya cuts off a few tentacles, but the roper counterattacks and breaks her remaining sword. Vulcan tosses her a small dagger, which Arya uses along with the broken sword to defeat the roper. One more remains. Arya rushes toward it, now much faster and more agile. She easily dodges its attacks and counters, cutting several tentacles at their base. Unfortunately, the roper releases a white substance as it's attacked, splattering Arya. She becomes enraged, insisting that only Tama is allowed to do such a thing to her. She unleashes her new move, Cutting Gale, and defeats the roper. Her friends rush to her side, and Tama realizes her new move stems from using weapons suited to her fighting style. While no one is watching, Tama approaches one of the defeated ropers and steals its abilities by biting it. He immediately regrets it. The taste and texture are awful, but gains tentacle summon and unlimited slime discharge abilities. Meanwhile, Arya keeps slicing the last roper in a sinister manner, furious about being splattered, reiterating that only Tama can do that to her. Vulcan shares her conclusions with Arya, who admits she chose the longswords out of admiration for the Sword Saint. However, she now realizes they're not suited for her and is willing to try daggers instead. Tama is delighted to hear this. He climbs onto her and purrs, trying to tell her she'll become much stronger this way. Vulcan suggests delving deeper into the dungeon, but first proposes they take a break. She leads them to a safe area with a small bath. Vulcan assures them no one ventures there because it's protected by the Philosopher's Stone, which floats between two branches. Hearing this, Arya can't help but recall the day her hometown was attacked. The girls prepare to bathe, and Tama tries to avert his eyes, but it's futile because Arya insists he bathe with her. While the girls are washing up, Arya asks Vulcan about her group of explorers. The question pains Vulcan, who explains that they split up because some of her companions became pregnant. Vulcan warns Arya to be cautious, as elemental cats can mate with other creatures. This revelation shocks Tama, who now understands why this ability is listed among his skills. Vulcan also warns that when Tama matures and goes into heat, he might get a bit wild with her. While Tama knows he would never do such a thing, Arya is thrilled by the idea and asks Tama to grow up quickly, so they can purr and meow together. Tama and Vulcan are dumbfounded by her words. The group continues exploring the dungeon and encounters a large monster. Arya will take care of it, and Vulcan will provide support. This will be their final test. Arya uses her acceleration and manages to strike the Minotaur, but her attack isn't strong enough to cause damage. Vulcan steps in, swinging her hammer at the Minotaur, which blocks with its shield, creating an opening for Arya to attack again. Arya delivers a series of quick strikes and Tama notices something unusual. He begins to suspect her true power is hidden in her chest. The Minotaur, weakened by the attacks, starts slamming the walls, causing a cave-in over Vulcan. Luckily, Tama reacts in time and destroys the falling rocks. Arya delivers the finishing blow to the Minotaur, celebrating her victory over a Sss-Rank monster. Vulcan is amazed and grateful that Tama saved her. The group heads to the guild to sell monster parts. Arnold, or as Arya calls him tenderly, Anna, notices fine, deep cuts on the materials. Vulcan attributes them to Arya's new attacks, and this fills Anna with pride as she has witnessed Arya's significant progress since arriving. The girls drink to celebrate. Arya thanks Vulcan for all her help, reminding Tama of his old days of celebration with his companions. Vulcan suggests forming a team, as it's clear they work well together. Arya is flattered but nervous, having never been part of a team and unsure of how it should work. Tama helps her by placing her hand on top of Vulcan's. Understanding his gesture, Arya agrees to form a team with Vulcan. The girls continue celebrating, eventually falling into a deep sleep together, with Tama stuck between them. While resting, Tama discovers an option in his skill list to evolve into his second phase. He realizes that evolving might make others recognize him as a behemoth, forcing him to leave Arya. However, since he can choose his evolution, he decides to remain in his first phase to stay by her side forever. Days pass, and Arya begins training with her new fighting style. She explores dungeons with Vulcan, who eventually gifts her her first pair of daggers. One afternoon, while walking through town with Tama, Arya hears a commotion and sees two men attacking a small homeless girl in the street. Arya intervenes, angering the men. However, recognizing the elemental cat who took down Kazman, they retreat to avoid conflict. Arya helps the girl, named Lala, and upon learning she's an orphan, invites her to come with them. Arya takes Lala to the church, where several orphan children excitedly run up to Arya to play. The nun who lives there assures Arya that Lala will be well cared for, and thanks her for everything she's done for the orphanage. Tama notices that Arya is very kind, promising to protect her with all her strength. One afternoon, Anna summons Arya to the guild. Upon arrival, she greets Arya with congratulations. Arya has finally achieved Sss-Rank status. Tama and Vulcan are overjoyed for their friend, who acknowledges she couldn't have done it without them. Anna urges her not to be so modest and to take pride in the fruits of her hard work. Their celebration is interrupted by murmurs among the adventurers, who are gathered around the announcement board, captivated by something important. Anna explains it's due to recent disappearances in the city of Leonard. Rumors suggest demons are responsible. Arya declares that she won't let this go unchecked and asks Anna for all the details. Hey, if you made it to this part of the video, don't forget to write the word Exquisito in the comment section. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.